So welcome to Calais. If I'd have been standing here 500 years ago, of course I would have been standing on English soil. I'm now in France looking out over the port of Calais. You can see the great big P&O liners heading off from Calais over to Dover. And actually I'm looking right now over towards what was the Risbank Tower. You can still, perhaps if I zoom in slightly, see the original fortifications, and that was a sort of a big garrison tower which was right on a promontory overlooking Calais harbour and existed in Anne Boleyn's time. She would have come in with Henry, sailed in on Henry's great ship the Swallow round the side of that promontory and into this inner harbour here, and somewhere around here the ship would have set anchor. It could have been here or a little further along, but I just wanted to show you that this is the site of Henry and Anne's debarkation in 1532 on the entry to Calais. And actually I'm going to take you a little walk along here. These people are probably going to think I'm utterly mad and won't know what I'm looking at all. But Henry and Anne were met by the Lord Berners, who was the, I can't remember the title, but basically the sort of lieutenant of Calais, and his deputy, and there were hundreds of soldiers and townsfolk all congregated here along the quayside to greet them. All the ships were hung and strewn with banners, the royal coat of arms. It must have been a beautiful sight. It was a fair day when they landed in Calais about 10 o'clock in the morning, and I just really wanted to show you there's very little left, obviously, of old Calais, very little at all, as it was bombed to smithereens during the Second World War. But I've been here today doing a little bit of research for the forthcoming book In the Footsteps of Anne Boleyn, because I wanted to see for myself exactly what was left, what wasn't left. But here, right in front of me, the reason I'm pointing you at this rather mucky looking crossroads was somewhere around here, around this point, was the great Lantern Gate. This was the main southern entry point into the, northern entry point into the city, so there would have been a great big medieval gateway there. And that in turn led down to the main marketplace. So Anne and Henry went through that gate, we know that for sure, and went down, I think it was Lantern Street, and you might be able to see, I'll try not to get run over, but in the distance there is the tower, and that's actually a 13th century tower. Anne would have seen that. It was part of the Staple Hall, there was two great buildings on the southern side of the marketplace, the Staple Hall and the Town Hall, and that's all that is left. The only other thing that I found is I found the location of the Staple Inn and the Rue de Duc de Guise, and the old Church of St Mary, which unfortunately was closed. But here was the Lantern Gate. It was a wonderful medieval gate, and just to finish off the story, I can't remember exactly the quote, but inscribed over the gateway was something along the lines of "The Frenchman shall Calais win when lead and cork, when lead and iron like cork do swim." It was a bit overconfident, as just under 25 years later Mary Tudor lost Calais to the French. So that's a little bit of history of Calais. As you can see, there's virtually nothing left of old Calais, but really great to be standing on the spot where Henry and Anne disembarked on their incredibly successful trip in the autumn of 1532 to Calais.